Welcome back. Welcome back to the Surround Sound Podcast. This very last segment is called The Sign of the Times. With the Sign of the Times, I take one subject and offer up a synopsis, hopefully of something that we would think to better our lives, maybe better just, go about our day this coming week with a different mindset. Well, a couple of things happened that were very disturbing. The first one, I think, is supposed to be, although it was based on real life events. And the second one was based on real life events as well. And it was just as disturbing. All right. If you don't know, eating humans and you're not an animal of the wild is frowned upon in many circles. I'm sure there's some cannibals in certain places, certain areas of the world. But in most society, it's not a good thing. I tried to watch the Jeffrey Dahmer story on Netflix. Couldn't do it. Put a pin right there. We'll come back to it. A couple of weeks ago, I got word that a big story was about to come down on Brett Favre. Now, I was like, how big could the story be? Because, Brett has got himself into certain situations already. Like, I really want there to be a 30 for 30 about Brett Favre. Like, not of just his, whole life or whole career. No. Like, from the last season that he was with the Green Bay Packers on down. I'm talking about from the time that he was with the Jets to when he went and played for Minnesota, and they said he didn't know if he was going to come back, and then he wanted to come back, and then the film crew, everybody flew to Mississippi to see what he was going to do. I need a 30 for 30. And then he was harassing somebody and sending penis pictures. And then that wasn't even the worst. And I'm not judging him in no way, shape, or form until he got to this. And I still won't judge him too tough, but I'm a damn sure give him a stern talking to. Stealing is one thing. I stole. You stole. Everybody, some people that have worked at jobs that were somewhat clerical before this digital age where you wrote a lot of things down. You need pens, you need tape, you need staples and staplers and worked in various office style jobs. You've taken a pen whether you wanted to or not. In my head, and I am a human, so it don't mean a whole lot. But in my head, that's one type of stealing. Yeah, stealing is stealing, but stealing from the rich is different than stealing from the poor. Brett Favre, you attempted to steal, and you did steal from the poorest people in the United States. Not only that, that's your home state of Mississippi. Now, I guess things just kind of worked out right for this story and this sign of the times, because I often tell people all the time that I have Mississippi blood, because my mother and father were both born in the state of Mississippi. Como and Lula, to be exact. If there's one thing that I do know about Mississippi, it's quaint. Everybody know everybody. It's a lot of small towns. It's a lot of rural areas. And it's a lot of people that don't have a lot. A lot like the family that I come from. A lot like my elders. And for you, Brett Favre, to steal is irreprehensible. Now, that's how I personally feel. Now let's get to the legal aspect of this. I listened to a excerpt from Pablo Torres's ESPN podcast. And I'm all but certain Brett Favre will get away basically scot-free. Why? Because the ability to say what is and what is not is what's at stake here. Brett Favre said via text message to a lady that is now behind bars for basically doing the same thing, scamming the government or government programs out of money that should go to needier people, but they used or she used for private practice. He said blatantly, if will the media find out about this? Or is there a way that the media can find out about this? And she said in all her Karenness, no. No. Well, when money had got kind of funny after the first allotment of money, Brett Favre came back to that same lady, Miss Nancy News, who is once again behind bars. And he said, I got it. I got it. How about I do a commercial or a PSA for this great state of Mississippi that I love so much? How about I do a commercial and y'all just give me a couple $1 million? And then after that, he said, well, you know what? How about I do a couple of speaking engagements and y'all give me a couple of more $1 million? He hadn't did the speaking engagements, and I hadn't heard anything about the TV commercials. So, once again, they just about gonna say, hey, Brett, you get that money back, and it's all good. Because what is starting to, or what will happen is, because this came from, some of this stuff came from the governor seat. And if you know anything about the United States government, they don't like getting rid of officials once they're sworn into power. A la Donald Trump, a la Bill Clinton. Like, this is really offensive what Brett Favre is doing. And I'm not going to even get into why certain media has not or will not or just has not covered the situation like they covered other athletes. But if the question is what's more offensive, Brett Favre and what he has done, or Jeffrey Dahmer, I say this. It's a lot closer than what you would think. For everybody here at the Surround Sound Podcast, I am your host, R. Hunter Jr., the truth and not a rumor. For Matasha in the borough, for Troy in the booth, be good to yourself and most definitely each other.